Hey folks, this is Best in Slot with the latest in Ark 2 news, because just a few minutes ago Studio Wildcard announced their plans, their roadmap for the Ark franchise. Ark Survival Evolved, Ark Survival something else, we'll get to that in a second, and of course Ark 2. This is a good news, bad news, good news, bad news sandwich kind of situation. You know, when you're delivering bad news, so you want to kind of put it between two pieces of good news to soften the blow. Kind of what's going on here. So we'll start with the good news very quickly. This is the new concept art they posted for Ark 2, showcasing their new Sabertooth design. I'd like to do a more in-depth analysis of this and go into the morphology of the creature as we've done in the past, but we'll save that for later on in the weekend. Here we're really here to focus on the Ark 2 news in general. But I will say I like the design, and I like the more grounded, intimidating style they're pushing. And keep that in mind, it will be important in a little bit compared to the creatures we saw in Ark 1. There's bad news coming, but at least when we do get Ark 2, I think the creatures could look pretty staggering if they do manage to translate this art and this concept art into 3D models, into actual gameplay. And we're going to have to wait a while for that, so let's check this out. Ark 2. After careful consideration, we've decided to delay the sequel's launch to the end of 2024. We're not talking 2024, we're talking the end of 2024. We're talking Q4 2024, probably a year and a half away, which is so far away, when I think the original launch was like early 2022 or something. I think a lot of us saw this coming. You know, I said in my video the other day, well, not the other day, a few weeks ago now, I thought Ark 2 was going to get delayed to next year. Some people were still optimistic because there was that Xbox showcase kind of thing and it still had Ark 2 listed, but given the lack of gameplay or anything in-game at all, given the amount of work they're putting into Ark Survival Evolved, for good reason as we'll come to, it seemed unlikely Ark 2 was going to be here anytime soon. That is a humongous delay, but hopefully in the end it's going to mean a better game. I know people will be disappointed about that. I am too, actually. I'm quite looking forward to Ark 2. Yeah, it's a long way away. It's still going to launch exclusively on Xbox, Game Pass, and Windows PC, Steam. We've put much thought into delaying the game for the betterment of the final product and the team's well-being, and that is important. We want to allow the devs to not have to go through crunch culture, basically. The news will be disappointing to many, but we're confident the heavy decision is the right one. So, important. Why the delay? Our goal is to make Ark 2 the best game it can be and provide a truly exceptional and rewarding experience for players. Unreal Engine 5 is incredibly new technology to us and all developers, and we aim to use this cutting-edge tech to its fullest potential while creating a game with never before achieved scope at Studio Wildcard. As we learn more about the engine and develop the sequel, we've adapted our workflows and adjusted our pipelines to accommodate this now new next generation paradigm. This is all very fancy business, just shoving every like tech speak word we can think of. And because of everything that involves, we need more time for development. We apologize for this delay. We appreciate your understanding. We do not, and this is kind of a key as well, blah 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 blah. With that in mind, we do not plan to showcase any gameplay, screenshots, or videos of Ark 2 this year. So for the entirety of 2023, when we're only end of March, so 9 months minimum of just concept art. We intend to keep you informed and engaged in development by showcasing more Ark 2 assets in the months ahead. So we could still get 3D models down the line. It's not necessarily just going to be concept art. Maybe we'll get 3D models of various things. Obviously, we're still going to get these community crunches, and they've been showing us new things, but the gameplay reveal is going to be 2024. As I say, disappointing news. In a way, I'm kind of glad, because I think people have been kind of on tenterhooks about it the whole time, kind of waiting for gameplay and kind of probably badgering the devs a little bit. And just, you know what? We're not going to say it's end of 2023 and then delay again to early 2024 and then delay again. Let's give ourselves tons of time. Let's avoid the crunch. And let's just do it right. But our desire to push the boundaries of what Ark 2 is on a next-generation platform has led us to the decision to create an intermediary Unreal Engine 5 Ark product utilizing some of the new tech they're building. So they're learning Unreal Engine 5 in the development of Ark 2, and they're taking that tech and now applying it to Ark Survival Evolved. Now, this next paragraph I think is actually the most interesting bit in a lot of ways. Meow. We also recognize that Ark 2 has some pretty significant design changes from the original game, which might not make it appealing to everyone. So Souls-like combat they've mentioned, combos of weapons and blocking and just intricate melee combat, primitive only weaponry, the tech stuff is largely being removed, and third person only, as well as a much more serious tone. Things are going to be a lot less crazy when Ark 2 lands. It's going to be almost not a sequel, it's like an entirely different game altogether. Which is why we feel it's essential to provide players with a fully next-gen version of the original experience to ensure that Ark fans can continue to enjoy the Ark experience they know for years to come. So, what's interesting about this to me, and it's going to lead us to this next page right here with Ark Survival Ascended. This is the Unreal Engine 5 version of the game. I think there is a concern at Wildcard, an understandable concern, that they are going to lose a lot of Ark Survival Evolved players in the transition to Ark 2. They'll probably gain loads of new ones as well, but they'd lose a lot because a lot of the aspects that people like in Ark 1 seemingly aren't going to be present in Ark 2. So, I don't think you can any longer think of Ark 2 as a sequel. It's more like a new game in the same universe, but I feel like what they're going to try to do here is develop Ark Survival Ascended, which is, as I say, the Unreal Engine 5 version of the original game, and Ark 2 kind of at the same time. They're going to run as separate products, and if you want the original Ark experience, you can still play that. They're going to release new DLC for that, we're going to talk about that now. And if you want the new experience, Ark 2 is going to be there. They're going to be running on the same engine. Graphically, they're going to look pretty similar. You're not necessarily going to get a worse experience on the old game, you're just going to get a different experience. Ark Survival Ascended is a next-generation remaster of Ark Survival Evolved using Unreal Engine 5, releasing on Xbox Series SX, PC, and PS5, so not exclusive like Ark 2 will be, by the end of August 2023, so actually not that long away. April, May, June, July, 5 months maximum, we'll see. The base game will include the island, survival of the fittest, and all the non-canon DLC maps which will be added to Ark Survival Ascended over time. So this next bit is relevant to you depending on what console you want to play on. It's an interesting way they've done this. Let's go through this. Xbox players and PC players can only get Ark Survival Ascended in a new bundle that's going to be called the Ark Respawned Bundle. And that bundle includes ownership of Ark Survival Ascended and Ark 2. And it's going to cost $50, probably 40 quid for those of us here in the UK. This bundle will be available to purchase from the end of August when Ark Survival Ascended comes out for up to 1 year, after which they're going to be separated price-wise. And they'll be separate, and that's basically when Ark 2 is going to come out, right? End of August. That probably gives us a time frame, maybe September, October 2024 for Ark 2, but we'll have to see. Additionally, the bundle will provide players access to an exclusive 1-month closed beta to Ark 2 in 2024 before the rest of the general public can play Ark 2. So, pretty big incentive to play the game on PC or Xbox right here. And I'm sure pleasing Microsoft, given that this game is launching initially on Game Pass, is probably quite a big thing. PlayStation 5 users will be able to get their hands on Ark Survival Ascended as a standalone next-gen game at launch in August 2023 for $39.99. So, this is a weird I'm in two minds. So, on one hand, if you don't care about Ark 2 at all, you know, you've no interest in it whatsoever, and you only want to play the Unreal Engine version of Ark Survival Evolved, i.e. Survival Ascended, but you play on Xbox and PC, you are going to have to spend more money. You're going to spend essentially an extra $10 on a game you don't care about, which I guess isn't that much compared to the actual price of the game. PS5 users are probably going to have to pay $40 and then probably have to pay $40 again when Ark 2 comes out because they're not getting the bundle deal at all. So, right, last little bit of text. So, kind of backing up what I was saying earlier about Ark Survival Ascended now running as its own product, kind of at the side of Ark 2, not necessarily competing, not necessarily sequels, but standalone games that will continue to be supported. They are adding a new paid expansion pack to Ark 1. We plan to release a new canonical story expansion pack for Ark Survival Ascended that will come out at the end of this year. Q4 means the last 3 months of this year, so October, November, December. This DLC will feature 4 new creatures, which we'll find out more about later this year, and we'll definitely talk about that when that happens. So, lots of news. Yeah, anyways, I've blathered on for way longer than anticipated. They dropped a lot of information. I'd love to know what you all think in the comment section down below. How do you feel about this? Are you annoyed PlayStation player? I imagine there's quite a few annoyed PlayStation players. How do you feel about the delay? Are you going to buy Ark Survival Ascended. That might be my return to Ark personally. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, that's it for the news. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. I'll see you lovely folks very soon. Thanks for joining me. Cheers, much love as always. Bye-bye.
Reaching out.